It's on.
That's Tuesday, January 14th, about 4:30 p.m. I'll open the meeting of Board of Water Commissioners. First order of business to call a meeting in order. Second order of business to make a committee motion says they should be.
We're just doing the minutes for now.
Oh, yeah.
Later, we're just gonna follow the agenda.
Okay.
I move to approve the open session minutes at the same time.
Second.
One second, so while we're having a minute. First appointment is Rob D'Ambrosio of D'Ambrosio Wari, dealing with Woodgate Affordable Units, phase 1. Hey, Del.
Hey, good. All right, you ready for it, bud?
We're ready, we'll ever be.
All right, so thanks everyone, thanks for making the time. Mr. Warren said, Rob D'Ambrosio, attorney at law, D'Ambrosio Law in Plymouth. I'm here on behalf of Wingate. I've got David Feldman with me of Wingate as well. And just wanted to make a presentation to you relative to a proposed conversion of a previously approved portion of the campus. So I'll get into that. So in 2007, Wingate was issued a special permit from the Town of Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals. It actually modified an earlier special permit, but it was for an expansion of the existing facility, 127 additional units. And that was broken down for what it's worth as 12 skilled nursing facility units, 55 independent living homes, and then 60 independent living apartments. That was in addition to the existing 262 units. Okay, so 2007, 127 new units approved. And I'm going to pass out to you. Yeah, I got 6 copies, so someone might have to share. But I'll give you this is the plan for what it's worth, which was approved in 2007. So we can at least visual there. Well, I think. Yeah, so this shows the whole enchilada as it was proposed in 2007. Again, not all of which was constructed. So what Wingate is proposing now for 2025 is to only build, and I'm going to hand out another item here.
So the part that's built is the 2 buildings that you see closest to the pond.
Yeah,
On the top.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then this is basically a blow up of that plan, a part of it. This area. Yeah. So if you look at the building on this plan that's marked building A. You can see that on the larger plan. It's that sort of L-shaped building. Again, that one was not constructed, but what's being proposed today is that a building really of identical dimension, shape, footprint, size, I'm not sure about style, but basically that building would be constructed, but instead of being independent living apartments, it would be age-restricted affordable units, 100% affordable. So that's the proposal today, and the reason we thought it made sense to start with you guys is that, we're aware of the water moratorium. So again, our hope and our expectation, I guess I'll say hope, is that, since this was approved, my understanding of the moratorium is for new development. And since this was something that was already permitted and subject to existing permit, we'd be optimistic and hope you take the view that this isn't subject to the moratorium. Again, same building, same number of units, just a different purpose. And in fact, I'll sweeten the pot a little bit, so to speak. If you look at that red kind of bubbled area on that first plan that I gave you, that was a portion of the development that was going to occur on the other side of Lake Street. And again, it's adjacent to some conservation land. This sketch, not only is that no longer on the table for construction, but as part of this proposal, what Wingate is proposing to do is donate that to the town for the town to use as open space. So we think that's appealing for a couple of reasons. You've got some upland there that could be used for ball fields or recreation or more active use as conservation land, and then some of the wetland is adjacent to existing conservation land. You can see that on that colored map that I gave you, a small 8.5 by 11. And it's right next to the Jones River, so it's about a 20 acre, David, is that right, 22?
It's just below, it's like 17, 18 acres.
Yeah, okay, so we're just shy of 20 acres, so again, that's a nice, not only would that not be built, but that's kind of part of the overall proposal here. And Matt in the Conservation Department has been receptive toward the idea of the town taking it. Sometimes you see people throw, oh, we'll try to put this little bitty piece into conservation, but it's not contiguous with any other open space, or it's doesn't have any wetland values. We think that this actually is the other end of the spectrum, has some nice conservation value, contiguous with existing open space and wetlands. So again, I think that's part of the proposal here. Again, so just a couple other highlights here, and then I'll get off my soapbox. This is smaller than what was previously proposed, as I pointed out, that 127 units. Now, again, eventually in the future, Wingate would like to come back in and do some additional acreage for the affordable. For now, we're just talking about phase one, we'll call it, that 60 unit building that is proposed.
That's building anyways.
Correct. Yep, that's building A that you see there. This site is serviced, as you probably know, by private wastewater treatment. So again, it's not on town sewerage, it's not septic, it's got its own private system that has capacity for this because it was designed for the build out. And it's on town water as well. So again, the usage is significantly less than what's currently being consumed. So that special permit contemplated 65,000 gallons of water per day consumption. And right now, we're only around 18 to 20,000 gallons a day. So, again, well under what was projected here in terms of capacity for water and wastewater. Again, that's those are really the highlights of what I wanted to present. Unless Dave has to add anything, he could chime in. I think that there's some merit here, certainly in terms of getting Kingston closer to that total affordable unit count. Again, happy to answer questions. I don't know if Val wants to mention.
I think this is the affordable question. If we have 60 units built within a 1 year time frame, we get to ask for reprieve from 40B. It's called safe harbor. So we get to say no new filings for
Hold on.
like a year.
My concern is if we have a moratorium that says there are no hookups in town. That, from my standpoint, that means absolutely there is no new hookups in town, no new projects allowed. But what doesn't make, from my standpoint, that's, is beneficial to the town as this may be. The last thing we want to do is to open up for a particular project. 120 odd units of affordable housing, whatever it is. If we can't do it for businesses that want to build in town, we shouldn't be doing it for anything else that doesn't have an existing service to the property line at the present time.
So let me mention one comment. I should have mentioned it when I made my opening remarks. I think one thing to consider here when you think about this project, these projects have a long time frame in terms of development, funding, build out. So actually, and again, I don't know if we have a predetermined end to the moratorium, but this would be constructed during 2026, and there really wouldn't be any occupancy until what it was, fall of 27, David? Yeah. So we're really, almost 3 years out from when any additional water would be consumed. I don't know if that changes anything, but
It doesn't really. What we have said publicly is we can't allow any hookups until we know that we can turn the spigot to the new well on. So that in fact we can supply the town with an adequate supply of water. And unfortunately, projects like this that have a lot of positive potential to the town are also being held up just as positive commercial development in town. And if we don't stay on course, we are then subject to all sorts of ramifications and comments and that we, at least I feel we are not responsible for. We want to stay true to where we are. And bad as it is, and it is bad, we're probably talking probably 4 to 5 years before the well will be up and operating.
When you say the tap to the property line, Would that include the existing line on Chicken Way? Could you,
And you could put a brand new development like this in, yes, it would. I mean, if it was a single unit and there was a single, service to the property line, that would be one thing, but to build, how many units?
the 60 units would
Yeah.
come off the main that's on Chicken Way. And then when we eventually go to phase 2, we bring a new service into those.
So I have a question. So the special permit, so you right now, was that a water commission approved plan for 65,000 gallons back then? Is there a no?
The 65,000 was a groundwater district.
The town created one 2007.
All right, so just so, you know, hypothetically, could you pull more water out of your existing buildings up to 65,000 right now?
No.
So it's only, so it's being extra.
Yeah, we've been carrying that increase in groundwater discharge since 2007.
Yeah, I mean, the letter of the law, I mean, my concern is, same as Bud's with that, is that to, as much as I would love to see this, I think it's a positive for the town, for all the things you guys have there. Consistency is what we have to lay our heads on this day, is if you allow some for this, it's just really, it's not a fair system. I think moving
If
on.
they didn't need to make a change to the use, they could just build what they have, because they have a permit. They already have a permit, so it's something that they're legally entitled to build, because they have the permits, and they were permitted for the water, the septic system, and the discharge. So I guess that's a question I have.
Is this a legal question type of thing, or is this just a
Probably both.
Probably.
because they were approved, and that's what I was wondering, if it was a commission approved it back then, that was a service that's approved, and I think that's,
Did we approve it? Planning board.
yeah,
But
ZBA.
It's a special permit, so it's
I kind of remember that. I kind of remember it.
I'm scanning through the special permit to see if it specifies anything about the water.
but anything that
But I think we should ask town council. Because otherwise we're just spinning our wheels right now.
Yes,
If town council says that we can provide the water in spite of the moratorium because they have,
Grandfathered in.
They're obligated to do it.
then if we're obligated to do it, that's fine, because then the next person that comes in and said, but look at Wingate, we can say,
they're
show
already-
me your pre-approved plan prior to that, otherwise we can't.
I would like to be able to say yes for that reason.
well, that's why it was important for us to get in front of you guys, because I don't want to commit to spending $200,000-300,000 on site development, planning. If there's no guarantees.
Let's ask town council for an opinion on this, because if you're right, I don't see any problems with this, quite frankly. This is a really good thing for the town. It's just the issue of the water.
The only issue I would have is like, you know, how much use, because we are over pumping right now. So in the short term, we do have some issues there. In the long term, we're gonna be fixing those with the new one. But I would love to find out if there's gonna be any issues that our engineer sees in this much usage for that racket time.
Yeah, and bear in mind, we're looking at a fall 2027.
Yeah. We're still probably gonna be 2 years out after that too. So if that puts us into more jeopardy with the state, we probably need to know. You might still legally, from there, be allowed to do that.
But even if it puts us in jeopardy with the state, if they have a legal right to that
Yeah.
water based on votes we've made in the past, I don't think we can.
I just like to know what kind of
Yeah,
jeopardy.
just be a heads up.
Let's find out, council, would you make a?
Rob, do you have any information on when that was, like, when the approvals were actually done?
Yeah, I got that, if you wanna take a note,
Because I could look into minutes.
yeah, I can email to you, ZBA case 1197, which, issued in August of 2007. Let's see, there was a hearing, March 7th, I think was the first hearing, and then it was, went through a series of hearings until August. So I would look for, March, there was one in March, there was another one continued in May, and then the hearing in May 2007, and a vote in June.
So I'll look anywhere from January 2007 through August, because it could have come before the water commissioner commissioners prior to,
Yeah.
regardless of line for me, so.
It's like in the same day.
Does it show the construction on that one? Or-
So I'm hearing maybe 2 out of 3 are favorable or, again, not
It's
trying
no
to
one
make a
was
straw
favorable
vote,
or
yeah.
not favorable. Right, but
If you have a right. to
My,
it.
what my concern is, what concern is, we have always leaned heavily on making sure whatever we do across the board. That we're not, there's no appearance of favoritism.
Yeah.
By any reason.
That's how it should be.
And that's why I'm, and as far as I'm concerned, my answer is at this point, no. But in the last town council said we absolutely have to do it. My answer still gonna be no, no matter how good the project is, or how beneficial to the town it may be. For us to do our job and do it to every resident, every business in town, we need to be consistent.
But if town council's answer is yes, we're not gonna waste money on legal fighting it. I guess is a way of putting it too,
Yeah.
so. You know, if, it's gonna come down to what town council says.
Well, I understand.
So if the ZBA, or the planning board asks you guys for your opinion, it sounds like the opinion might be, well, we've got water problems, but, we don't.
But if it's the law, if the law is the law. We'll figure it out.
And it may not matter ultimately, but it would be nice, I guess, if town council says, yep, they have the right to build the 126 units, 127 units previously approved. It would be nice to get a letter from you saying, well, we like the project, if it's.
Then we prefer 60 to this.
Yeah, as
our-
opposed to we hate the project. but
Our
we don't
intent,
think it-
our intention is to do just the 60 right now, get that filled, stabilized, and then come back.
By then, the well will be well operated. We'll find out whatever problems we've got with it.
Get that location.
The idea of,
Well, we're ready to go.
yeah. The idea of giving some additional land to the conservation commission. That's a double-edged sword, as far as I'm concerned. Because of what the conservation is done by adding additional restrictions, nobody really can do anything with that other than leave it completely passive. So that even though we may need a additional well site, if we can find a well site on land that's been designated for conservation because they've added caveats that require changes at
Maybe
the
we
state
should go to
level.
the water department because it's.
I was just gonna say that, maybe we can get this little,
Yeah.
there is a vernal pool down there.
Right.
We didn't really realize what they were doing until it was done, and now we have to go to the legislature to see if we can change it. Even if it's to put in something passive, like a wellhead,
Right.
Give it to the town so that most of it goes to the water department and part of it goes to town, it's wetlands, and then another part of it is for recreation.
If you could put a well in it, we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, if you get a study and see if it's suitable.
Yeah,
It's
the
still in John's
issue-
watershed.
That was up there.
It's still in the John's
Yeah, right.
watershed.
Here,
So it would be
These
an
are
option.
potential
Yeah, I
ones
think
like
they're
right there.
yeah, it's next
I
to the
mean,
water
you don't want to
department.
discount anything, but there were successful work done back in the 70s. I
Yep.
recognize this a few years ago.
It's big enough.
They
to
weren't
go
as
on.
promising there, but I think it was
Well, I mean, if
shallow.
if it winds up being athletic fields, it's a way, I'm sure the town would figure out a way how to divvy up the land as long as you didn't restrict it with conservation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we would designate it to the conservation commission, we would designate it to the town, and let the town figure out.
That would make sense.
Water department.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't leave it open, because if it's left open, they'll think it's going to conservation.
Yeah.
And that's the way it would be presented.
If you wanna look at it for a well site, I think it's worth exploring. while we're-
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to do that. We
There's
don't need to
successful
know
work,
that
it's-
today or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that's pretty easy. to-
Just don't tell it if it's conservation.
If you guys wanna do some test pits on there anytime. You really wanna.
After we get the one
Yeah.
we're now.
Add that to
We
our
started,
design.
yeah.
Design.
So where's the new well coming on in a few years, where's that? one
Right
going?
down in here.
What street is that? What street is that?
It's
off?
right off of,
Bishop's Highway.
Route 80, Bishop's Highway.
Right next to the treatment
Yeah.
facility. The one well there.
One of the reasons we built a large treatment facility so we could put another well's water in there to treat it, knowing full well that we're gonna have to treat it.
It's an existing treatment facility.
No, do we reach out to town council? You reach
No,
out?
we
to-
won't.
Okay.
Stacy will.
And I can send you the special, you probably have it, Stacy. I'm gonna email you the special permit. that you-
Yeah, that's great. I'll just, and I'll, in the meantime, research some minutes and see what I can find.
Well, that's it. Thank you for your time, guys.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I stay in Taiwan today, I got another.
Good thing you know.
By the way, my wife was up on game right now, so, yeah, she was up on game where we were about 4
Well, hopefully there was some reason.
Which part?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, yeah.
Oh.
And it was, she went from there to, be a
Yeah, what is that? Newton voting today. The MBTA.
Yeah, you know, to say whether they want us to, they issued draft emergency not even draft, emergency regulations this afternoon that are secret, they're going to be announced tomorrow, but they look just like the guidelines. So,
But they tweaked it however they needed to tweak it.
yeah, and they said emergency regulations in effect, so it's almost like nothing happened after all that.
Really?
It's
Probably
not,
reckless.
I think about 4 hours.
Yeah, throw that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
For me.
David?
That's one we don't have to address. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Haven't had a proposal in quite a while.
Oh, yeah, that one proposal.
Did you leave that map?
I have one right here.
There's
Oh.
a couple there.
Yeah, I can
The
email
ones I
it.
printed out? The one I-
Oh, yeah, the colored one, yep.
Oh,
Yeah, they're all right there.
I'll put it with this.
All right. Thank you. everyone. Yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
Okay.
Oh, good, good thing I'm a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What's next?
Moving on, Christian Berger, back up again.
Okay, all right, well, have in front of you the status on the Main Street water main, things are cost wise. We got the payment number 5 from CC Construction that included the permanent trench repair work that was done before the holidays. And so this updated cost sheet gives the balance remaining accounting for those costs. So this is for the cost going forward. So I put together the outstanding costs on the projects. We have change order 2, which is also in front of you. Change order 2 includes some additional costs for flaggers. We included some in change order 1. There was another invoice that came in after that one was done, so that's in change order 2. Change order 2 also includes the cost premium for doing the paving work at night. There were 3 nights there, so that additional cost was $26,100. And then there's also the third thing of change order 2 is the additional cost for paving for an extra 2 inches of paving on the DOT roads. We had originally planned on them achieving the full 7 inches by doing 5 inches followed by the 2-inch overlay. And with the schedule, and we lost time, the overlay work's not going to happen in the spring. So to achieve a cleaner trench patch before the winter, they did the 7-inch permanent trench repair. So that added a cost of about $80,000. So that change order 2 total is $109,000 and some.
So the only thing really left is the 2-inch mill and paving,
Yeah, and
Good.
the retainage,
Yeah.
the punch list stuff,
but as far as there's no more 7-inch,
no more
Milling,
7-inch
that's
milling. It's so that what they'll do in the spring is the 2-inch mill and pave for the DOT roads. It's from the center of the road to the curb for most of it, and then at the intersections, there's some extra total intersection kind of thing. Yeah, it planned on having to do that. The project did extend a little bit further south than what we had originally planned for, so there's a little bit that will move down that way. Wasn't huge, but.
That remaining work, excuse me, that includes all the traffic replacement and line
Yeah.
striping.
Solid paving item, and it also includes, right now, there's 5% retaining being held on the work. That's about just under 60,000. And so this remaining work, including the overlay of 210,000, includes that retainage. I'm also showing if they're required by the town to do the overlay work at night, that'll be another $26,000 plus change order. We still need costs for the police details. They were doing about 4 details, so that's 4 details at 8 hours a day for 3 days. That's 600, so that might not be exact number. And then there's some remaining engineering just to wrap it up. We're doing the record lines and close up project. So that all those costs, it's a little bit over the budget need by just under 10,000. So
But that's
that includes doing the work at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, that assumes working at night, so if we don't do the work at night, we're within budget. If we
Right.
do the work at night, we're over budget,
Yes.
which means we have to find some money.
Yeah. Try to do work during the day. Try to come to an agreement with the town administrator and chief police chief to agree to do the work during the day.
So the retainage, just, I'm trying to get up to speed on this stuff that you already know. What I'm sure. That's separate. That's supposed to have like punch list items and advanced
Yes.
stuff. Would that be eventually available if we did use all of it?
No,
Cover
that's
yourself?
owed to the contract.
Okay. All right, okay, that's.
Make sure that-
Anyway,
So yeah, that would be if there comes some agreement can be made to do the work. It doesn't require a full road closure. It's there's still ability to keep one lane open. We have the road detours for the spots that could allow that. Some of the route up near the ramp, it would be alternating traffic. So that'd be a short-term pain, but it's achievable to get it all done within 3 days. And that part up where it's the most painful, it would all be done in a day. So that's what we need to try to get everybody on board with, that would be within the budget to do.
that's where you need to go. Fire chief.
Yeah, so, you can initiate discussions with them, and then, we can do meeting here as soon as they're available to talk about that.
Yeah, hopefully they coordinate things with the school vacation week. So,
Yeah.
We're back to school. That was the big reason why the night work came about, was the impact of school,
Yes.
bus traffic. So,
Yeah, and I know like shifting the work into the summer is very helpful for that traffic.
no, then you get restrictions from the night work, state.
The state gets more concerned about that summer traffic. School year traffic. So, any questions about Main Street project that concern? So, hopefully try to get an answer on some of that night work sometime soon, because if not, it's a money issue.
So we gotta get this worked out very well.
We have to figure out.
Because again, we gotta get, we wanna schedule it during school vacation, which is very important.
It comes up quick.
The sooner the better.
Yep.
It's January.
Right.
So there are some, if we were able to work out an agreement, they're running short on the budget. And looked at our general budget today. We do have that resurfacing account in the general line budget. It's $10,000 in there. You can dip into that. I don't think we used that last year. Used it for anything.
I think you use that on this lane.
We should do that, use the red stuff with that, but. And
It's
then,
tough to get comfortable to do that now.
but then there's also the remaining money in that equipment replacement line from the travel fund.
Okay.
General budget, so it's about
It'd be after the transfer.
22,000, we really need to transfer, we just. So, we have options, but they're not great options when
Oh,
you're
okay.
talking
Yeah.
about maybe not
Maybe
even
No.
that
able
contingency.
to make
Yeah.
that FY 26 budget. So-
$26,000 a lot.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, those are some initial
And I think you
ideas.
get a better product if you do that.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
talked about
There's
being
a right
cold
answer,
and having
there's
a
no
better
issue
light.
with
There's so many ways it's a better product.
Yeah.
Let's hope they're cooperative.
So the next project for the well cleaning. Stacy should follow that too.
That does bring that up.
Yeah, so the first page, I wanted to show you, give you some screenshots. It's a video, but I did just some screenshots on my monitor, so you get a feeling for what the well screen looked like before it was cleaned. So if you can see in this top picture, you can see a little bit of the well screen
Yeah.
there. And then this is also showing the well screen. It's just all fluff with, iron manganese product that's all clean to it and all the stuff floating around in the water. The next page shows you got a little bit better feel for what the screen actually is behind some of the fluff and spots. And then there's also a picture of what the old pump bowl looks like, the old column pipe all coated with, that it's almost like it could be a little bit of iron bacteria. And when they did the redevelopment, how dirty it was. So when Chris was complaining about losing capacity from the well, that's why it was getting all plugged up.
How long does it take to get that flow? The custom screen?
Oh, it was a while. It went a little bit longer than it was supposed to because the new treatment plant project took precedence. So it was not cleaned when the treatment plant was done. So it might never have been cleaned. It's the treatment plant.
I'm trying to remember having,
Well, went into the 90s.
I don't recall.
Yeah, and then the treatment plant was done in 2014, right? So it might not have been.
Timely.
So after cleaning, look at me, you can see the gravel behind the screen. Because there's the gravel on the outside of the well. And you can actually make it out. That's how clean it got. And the water itself was cleaner.
Yeah.
What's production like?
Oh, yeah. Back where it should be.
So this next sheet gives you what Mara Services put in for a, before and after. So before redevelopment, specific capacity was 9.6 GPM per foot at 500 GPM. And then after they cleaned it, it was 14.23 GPM per foot at 750 GPM. So that was a good.
Good timely
Yeah.
job, get done.
And it was a good thing that we had the new pump on hand. Because the old pump, once they actually pulled it, a lot of it was not usable. So that's what this last couple of pages is showing. I had them give me a proposal for just so you'd know, if you did want to try to rehab that old pump and keep it like we have been talking about, it would be about $7,000. But the cost to
Maybe it was
the new
97,
pump, so
so-
it just doesn't make sense to even do that.
Well, I'm glad we made that decision to get a new pump and not wait till we pull it.
Yeah, and be waiting all that
Yeah.
time to get it. They still need to provide the fabricated discharge head. That was that long lead time item. So at this point, we're holding some money on them to once that ships and to deliver that. So you'll have the fabricated discharge head still like to set aside somewhere and keep it safe. That can be used next time. The fabricated discharge head was still okay, it's just the pump itself that pieces and parts wouldn't be reusable.
Well, I'm glad to get this done. It's like it was timely.
I think it was a very, very good decision.
Very timely.
That we, got the pump and had it on hand to minimize the downtime.
Good recommendation.
Yeah, the only thing, Peter told me is that for the next well, don't have it so far away from he didn't like the roof design on that one and where the well is in relation to the outside wall. It was hard for them
The height of the building,
to hold.
the location, the scuttle, or the terrain, they need a bigger crane to be able to reach it. Whereas the
So
other
keep
ones,
that in mind
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
design the new well.
They typically come with like a derrick truck, but now they needed a crane to do this. Because of the reach and the span of the terrain is,
Okay.
the access is just so.
As valuable as Ron
Yeah.
says, we're
Yeah.
about to build a new well. It's very valuable.
Yeah, is to make sure that gets discussed, the practicality of doing that and, even asking someone like him. Yeah, physically, do you see any issues? So that went very well. The next item on my list is, this new, grant program that was issued in December. And I spoke to Chris about it a couple weeks ago, and then, Bob, you've heard from it from somebody else and sent it on to Stacy as well. It's called the Drought Resiliency and Water Efficiency Grant Program. It's been released by EOEA. They say it has a maximum per project of 50,000, depending on how many proposals they get. They might give more, but that's what they put in there. They're particularly interested in water efficiency and demand management projects that are not currently funded through other programs, focused on initiatives that promise the greatest long-term impact on water use reduction, ensuring sustainability for water management in the future. Proposal deadline is January 31st, and they gave some example projects. Water loss control. The thing that jumped out to me was leak detection activities. So knowing last year that the leak detection that was done didn't find a lot, I was thinking it would be good to have another firm come in to do, an independent check of the leak detection. And the only challenge with this program and with some of these that they get released at this time and then expect all the work to be done by June 30th. So they're anticipating that they would be able to give notice to proceed in March. And so you couldn't have anyone start anything before that anyway, but all the work has to get done by June 30th. So it would be important to get whoever you would have doing the leak detection, we'd need to figure that out now, include them in the proposal request, and then make sure that they commit to, if you get the grant, they're gonna get out there and make it a priority and get it done. Because otherwise,
Because the funding
you
runs out.
lose out on the project.
No, the unaccounted for water was initially discovered because of some numerical kind of things that weren't jiving and all
Yeah.
that. Is it possible to kind of go back to that data and just kind of really go through that to make sure that the unaccounted for water is unaccounted for, or is there any more work to be done there to really make sure that the data we're getting to show that we have this unaccounted for water is truly missing?
Because we're not finding the source of unaccountable water. It's problem.
Yeah,
To just add that, we only meet the bleeders once a year. We just wrapped this past cycle. And in doing that, a large of those bleeder meters were inoperable or misreading. There was a lot of errors on them. So in doing some calculations, the ones that were still really accurate, then looking at what wasn't working, it seems to be that last time they got read, they may have been estimated based on because they were inoperable, and we fixed some of them, and not all of them failed because they fail a lot with such a slow flow going through them. They'll clog up with manganese or any other debris that's in there. So it seems to be that that's where our unaccountable water is. It's going through the meters that are required, but the meters are.
Is it possible to upgrade those meters to something a little more resilient that could be used for this money as well? Because that might.
So in looking at it, talking about that, talking to the companies, go to the mag meters, but then they're outside, the battery operated, the resiliency for the weather and the elements. In order to slow flow, discharge freezes up at all, or gets obstructed by roots and then freezes. So what we're gonna do is instead of reading them once a year, we're gonna read them every quarter.
Okay.
So we can get more on top of
Yeah,
this.
if it's not reading,
No reading your bill.
So
Okay.
that's where I think that
most of
almost all
the,
of our unaccounted for water went was
well,
to the leaks that we had.
probably
that
gives
were
an
found.
answer to the question, because after we did the leak detection and found very few leaks of any consequence, where the hell's the water going? Now, looks like there might have been an answer.
Yeah, it could be that they opened up more at
Yeah.
the same time because of like a pressure change. If there was an increase in, like the jump up in pumpage. So it's possible, like they just opened up further.
I know that
Release the
typically
water.
when we read them, we'll open them up all the way, give a good flush to get any debris sets that build up in there. We give a good flush, kind of scour it. And if they get left open a little bit more than usual, and it's all just
Well, you
Why
know,
don't-
How many do we have?
there's 22 liters. It runs about a gallon a minute, 65 degrees.
It's primarily for water quality
Yeah, so yeah,
with
we're,
the AC pipe.
okay.
So there's other things that could be done, just needs to be figured out soon. Other kind of like water loss programs,
So when is the deadline for submitting? this?
June 31st.
No,
I mean,
January
January
31st.
31st.
So we should get this in.
yeah, you got 2 weeks.
Right, so what's being submitted then?
Does it make sense to try and do another leak detection program?
Just to make sure.
I do, because I think DEP will be pushing that, so if you can get that, that funded for this, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And
There's a whole bunch of things in there that would be valuable too. Outdoor watering use efficiency improvements, having some information and having some seminars.
Yeah,
Because
so
we're losing, there's an awful lot of water being used that's unnecessary for irrigation all summer. I drive around, I see it all the time.
Yeah,
Way
that-
more water is being used than is needed. And if people understood, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know if that would matter, but if they understood, maybe there were water management. I remember we did this like 20 years ago. We had somebody come in and they did a seminar over at the Reed Building, and I learned a real lot from that. About watering my own
We
property.
should tell them how much the rates are going to be going up for that.
Yeah.
irrigation
Yeah.
rates.
Well, that was something too that the regional planning council, right, they reached out through time or
Mhm.
directly to
OCPC?
you, yeah.
Yeah.
And they might have some programs that they could pull together for something like
Yeah,
that.
ideally, you have a program that,
Yeah.
basically announce to people, if you do outside watering in the summer, you need to see this. It is the way you can save a lot of water, which will save you a lot of money. That was some-
The tough thing to try to beat detection is that contracts to do that work are so far out. We have to get the quotes on the other leak detections, some of them 3, 4, 6 months out, just to get them to start working.
Yeah, it's a really tight schedule to try to get them committed
let's-
to get it done.
Taking a shot at it.
Yeah, we can at least
Yeah.
ask. Have you already
Yeah.
asked anybody
No.
about that? No, okay.
And if they know there's a deadline of when it has to be completed, we might,
Prioritize them over someplace
there was-
else.
I
know
think
someone who doesn't have
Yeah.
a deadline.
Yeah, there was only like, I think the 3 companies that I was able to get in touch with that would do listening rather than correlation, other than correlation. And we haven't had any really much luck with correlation, in leak detection. So that was a challenge there. But it was the timeframe. So
Why don't you see if you reach out tomorrow to them and see if they would consider this, assuming we can get the grant.
I mean, you also bear in mind too, that if there's only like 3 companies that are doing this, and everyone's going for these grants for leak detection, what's their availability gonna be?
all you can do is ask, and then if like, if you get the award and they're not able to keep to the schedule, that's complete with the state at that point, but at least going into it, they're, you know, they only have so much money to begin with, and they're not gonna award them all for leak detection.
And in the
They're gonna wanna have-
application, yeah, in the application, we can put other things like.
Yeah, they want variety to do with it anyway.
There's a lot of stuff here that I think would be very valuable to us in our situation.
Yeah, so if there's like other work that you want, Old Colony to be involved with, to do some of that education stuff, yeah, touch with them right away.
The education would be a real good.
Yeah.
Point, because it's, you know, particularly the apartments at the mall, when you see the consumption up there is mind boggling.
You know, let's ask for more than the 50,000, and maybe they say, well, like, you know, if we show it as separate tasks, here's the leak detection is this much, this education part is this much, you know, they might decide, okay,
I
well,
guess let's make this a high priority for all of it, to see if we can line people up, get the application in. I know it's a short time frame, but we're talking about serious money for important
It
work
is.
that needs to get done. So I think it's worth the effort. Just not doing it.
no, it's tough timing when they released it right before the holidays, and then try to, you know, move anything forward with anybody at that point is
Well, see
impossible.
what we can get done. Sure.
Yeah, I would say reach out to the one for tomorrow. They did a good job there. Sandwich.
Okay, yeah, I still have this stuff, so.
So that's all I have. The other, that unaccounted for water program, so like they include that somewhat more for residential on this list, but the Mass DEP has that separate unaccounted for water, water audit, I should say, water audit grant program. So I wouldn't put in like a water audit as part of this, because there's a separate program that you can get the water audit from. They haven't released that yet, so we're still waiting to see. And when that comes out, we'll get you guys on that list.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay. That's all I have.
You're up, Chris.
All right. Well, I get great news to tell you that we finally got the roof repairs at the Soul Pond Booster Pump Station, 100% complete, so.
Haven't been down yet, but
We,
when I walk the dog down, I'll take a look.
a week or two ago, we had a spell of nice weather and not a lot going on, and we rallied and kind of dropped everything I was doing here to get up there and work with the guys and just get it done. So we got it done and cleaned up, and you know, the guys did a great job. You know, they learned a lot. They didn't have a lot of good carpentry skills, but they learned a lot. It was a good time. It's a good bonding time with the crew, so worked out really well. It's done. It looks good. Weather tight and cleaned up, and so glad to put that one in the mirror. And we did receive right around Christmas, I think it was the day after Christmas, there was a leak down at Grandview that the guys took care of, and they were out there, and the woman that was right there sent a very good next letter about letter of appreciation and gratitude to
Yeah,
the
that is
crew,
nice to see, yeah.
which I thought was important. That
Where was it?
Grandview Ave down the north.
Okay.
I mean, I was. Well, that was the day after Christmas. I had the day off, but I was around, and you know, the guys did a great job.
Good.
You know, it was good to see that. I took a ride by, and it doesn't mean looks like it did the day before they done. So great. I wanted the board to be aware of that. The town administrator and board of selectmen were all aware of a lot of gratitude. I think it's really appreciated. It shows, you know, a good crew, a good working ethic. So it's important.
Look, I was part of it.
Yes, yep. And Evan's working out great. He's fit right in real well with the crew. He's enthusiastic about every aspect of the job, every challenge that's put before him, and
When's he signing up for, what are the courses available?
they're available in April. So we've already got him signed up for the classes. He's gonna do the D1 and T1 back to back on the same day. So if I asked if he was interested in doing it that way, he says absolutely. So
I think it's-
Excellent.
yeah,
That's
no,
good.
he's enthusiastic. I think he's fitting in really, really well.
I think we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's all I have.
There's two abatement requests before you. The first one, 43 Shore Drive. This Residence meter sometimes it reads, sometimes it doesn't. It goes back and forth between actuals and estimates. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's with the reading equipment that we send out to be read, I don't know. But he did get an estimated bill for December. I looked back at his history and, he did give me the read on his meter the day he called. So it was lower than the estimate. The averages based on his actual read for the same billing quarter, and I can find an actual, he averages about 12,000 gallons a quarter. Originally I was gonna make that recommendation, but I think that, that might be a little too low based on what his current usage has been, his actual usages.
Looking at 17, 15, 16, 18.
Just make sure you look to see there's an A before it though, because some of those may be.
Oh, I see.
estimated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. I do think the 32,000 for the December bill was probably a little higher than that. But I don't know if it was as low as 12.
Do you have a recommendation?
If it were me, I would go between like 18 and 20.
Looks like there was an 18 in 2023 that's got an A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would have been for the summer months though, so they're
Okay.
always gonna use more
Yeah.
than.
Yep.
So that's why I think 18 to 20 is probably a better estimate. There are senior couple on a fixed income, doesn't have guarded.
Why don't we set it at 18? I move it. I move that we build on it based on 18,000 gallons.
Okay.
It's like a $10 difference or something.
And it would be based on the previous rate, because that's what the bill
Yep,
was,
yep.
not the current.
There's another one.
Move
And
second.
then the
so
other
voted.
one, oh, sorry. So,
Yep.
Bob gave that.
We'll take the same issue on another one.
So the other one is Bill Watson. He brought in his actual read on his meter once he got the bill. And it was lower than the estimate. By
by
about
much.
14,000. So I said,
If we can go with the actual reading for billing purposes.
you want to use that one?
Yeah. I make the motion.
I'll second that again.
Okay.
Move second, so voted. We have a letter from Habitat.
Let's go there. We get the department report.
I move
yeah.
that we approve the department report of the annual town report as published. No,
Second.
as written.
As written. Move second, so voted. The Habitat Humanity just wanted a clarification as to what the existing service to 272 Pembroke Street. They were shut off at the request of the building department. The building's going down. You know, if that service is still available, should they acquire the building?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Seems pretty much. Yep.
But, you know, because of federal funding and everything, she sort of, you know, dotting the. dotting the
Cross
I,
every
crossing T.
T and dot every.
So you want me to just send a clarification that
That in fact,
services
services
say
available.
it doesn't fall
It
under
would-
the
It's an existing service.
Yes,
shut off at the street.
They
just
wouldn't-
recently.
they wouldn't be looking to upgrade the sides at all, fire protection, anything like that.
No,
No,
Okay.
she said it was gonna be
Single
single family
family.
home using
Perfect.
the existing service.
Great, rehabilitation of the park.
So then the only other thing on this is to, award the sign that here.
I'll make a motion to approve the selection Kleinfelder, entered the negotiations. Garrett resigned. Trouble at 12.
Second.
Yeah, second. That
So
don't really
voted.
matter.
Wait a minute, it's just, oh, just in FYI, I did put a copy of the water rate increase letter that has been posted on the website and given to the board of selectmen and sent back to me, and we'll go in March to talk about this.
Which tab is it?
The last one. And it's that letter and the FAQ was attached to it. So that's, just wanted you to know that's what went out, that's what's gonna show.
Okay. Now I will do.
And I'm gonna donate all these.
So can you finish that out? So you moved to adjourn, second,
Second.
second.
So voted.